Hi, this is a quick video just to show you a brief overview of how you can use one possible way to use Jamboard. And in this particular Jamboard, I have set up the background pictures to be the instructions, basically. So let's take a look at this first problem. So what would we want students to do here? This is set up to scaffold them through the area model for multiplication. And let's see. I think that it's important to note that this scaffold should go away at some point, but for now I'm going to start off with this scaffold. So, all right, so how do I want students to use this, or how could they use it? So it could be something like this. I'll put 92 over here, and I think I want to help students represent that. And then I'll put 28 up here. So let's see, that's 28. And now when we do 28 times 92, 20 times 90, let's see, that's like 2 times 9, so that's 18, but it's 10 times 10, so that's 100. And so that's 1800. And then 20 times 2, that's 40. And 90 times 8, 8 times 9 is 72. So we'll have 72, and then there's times 10, so that's 720, and then 2 times 8 is 16. Okay, then transfer these over to these boxes over here for the addition portion. So that's 1800, that's 720, and that's 40. And let's see, that's 16. Again, it's pretty obvious, I think, that the colors are meant to scaffold the students here. So when I add up, that's 6, 2 and 4 is 6, and 1 is 7. 8 and 7 is 15. And add that, and that's 2576. Okay, 2576. So I would want the students to write 2576 up here. Okay, that's how that portion is supposed to be used. Over here in this portion now, 992 divided by 8. This is the area model for division. And so I'll always put the divisor down here. And I'll start off with my dividend here. So this is how you use this organizer. 8 goes into 992. So the first thing I'm going to say is it'll go in 100 times. And that's 800. Now, you could say 200, but that would end up being 1600, and that's too much. So now subtract these, and let's see, I think it comes out to 192. And then you're supposed to put that 192 up here. And now you're scaffolding students to see, okay, 8 goes into 192 how many times? So, okay, so it's 10. So you might think of this as 10 times 80, which are 10 times 8, which would be 80, 20 times 8, which would be 160, or 30 times 8, which would be 240. So 240 is too much, so I'm going to do 20. And by the way, if the students have trouble with that, there are some activities we can do to help them. So 160, and then I think that leaves 32 if I do my, and then my 32 goes up here, and now it becomes, I think 4 times 8 is 32, and that's 0. So again, like the other scaffold, I have 100 here, I have 20, and I have 4, and so that answer is 124. Okay, and so that's 124. Okay, all right, so now we've done two problems, area model for multiplication and area model for division. Let's see here. This problem, okay, so the idea is to see that you have a unit fraction 1/15th and a multiplication by a whole number. In other words, 10 times 1/15th. And how much would that be? So, okay, what would I want students to do here? So what I'll do is I'm going to use colors here. So I'm going to call this 150. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. So there's 15 squares here. They're all equal size. That means that each one of them equals 1/15th. So I'm going to just color them in. You don't actually have to color them all in. You can mark them like this. And I would say that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see, that's 5/15ths right there. Because I colored in 5 of them and each one of them is worth 1/15th. But it really wants me to do 10. So I'm going to go to another color. You'll see, I think you'll see why I'm changing colors here. And you can encourage students to change colors if it makes sense to them. And then, but then the real thing, the real use of a strategy like this is to get them to give their reasoning. Okay, so that's 5/15ths. So I think that you can see that what I would like at some point is for students to recognize that that's 1/3. And also that this is 1/3. And how you can recognize that is, oh, there's 1, 2, 3 rows, and each of the rows are the same size. So 1/3, 1/3. Okay, 5/15ths, 5/15ths. So now what I've colored in, or what I've indicated as marked here, is 10/15ths. So altogether, that's 10/15ths. But also, I can see that it is 2/3. Okay, so to say that it's 2/3 is not really part of 4th grade standards. That's actually a 5th grade standard, but it doesn't mean that you couldn't do it. Okay, so let's see, all together now over here on the picture, I'll say that when I add those two together, I think that I have 10/15ths. And so there you go. That's what's supposed to be done on that problem. In other words, really the instructions, if the instructions were written out here, would be to use the graph or picture to create a model of what 10 times 1/15th looks like. And I just did a little more than what was asked. I said there's 5/15ths and 5/15ths. I broke them up into different colors. It's not necessary to do that. I'm just modeling how to do it. And then I got a total of 10/15ths. Remember, this portion right here is really optional, and these portions are optional, and even these portions are optional. Although you'll see that I'm going to start, I would like students to start to notice those things. Okay. Finally, we come to problem 4. A courtyard is 3 times as long as it is wide. The courtyard is 72 feet long. How wide is the courtyard? So there are several different ways that students could do this. And this is very open. So they could use a division with a model like this here. They could use guess and check. So I'm going to use guess. So I'm going to guess one. Guess number 1. I'll guess 10 feet. If that's true, now I'm going. So guess 1. So I'm going to now check. 1. Okay, so to check it, or actually I don't even like the way I've set that up because I think it's too confusing. I want to model it the way I think students could understand it best. So let me go back here. And I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to just make a little chart. Guess, like this. And check. By the way, this is a strategy that I think is really useful, especially in these kind of problems, but doesn't get very much respect. So I'm going to try to encourage you to use it a little bit. Okay, so my first guess is 10. I'll almost always guess 10 if it's reasonable, because I want to check it real quick, and nothing is faster to check than 10, because now I'm going to say that's 30. So what I'm saying is, if the courtyard is 10 feet wide, then it would be 30 feet long, but that's not long enough. So it's got to be more than 10 feet. Okay, so I'll guess 20 feet. That will make it 60. Okay, still not long enough. So I've made 2 guesses now, and I know that it has to be even longer than that. So I'll guess 30. 30 is 90. Now I'll say, oops, it's too long now, because remember, it's supposed to be 72 feet long. So it has to be between 20 and 30. So my next guess between 20 and 30 will be 25. And that will give me 3 times 25 is 75. Okay, that's almost right, but not quite. I need less, so a little bit less. So I'll try 24. Now let's try 24. By the way, each of these I could do in my head, because 10 times 3 is 30, and 20 times 3 is 60, and so forth. And 25, I was thinking like quarters, 25, 50, 75. But here, this one I'm going to have to check over here to the side. So 24 times 3. And let's see, I think that will be 12, carry 1. 3 times 2 is 6, 72. Yay! I got it. So the answer here is, how wide is the courtyard? The courtyard is 24 feet wide. Okay. Now, all right, there you go, 24 feet wide. Okay, so let's see now. The purpose of this Jamboard, by the way, you'll notice up here that you could have changed the student name, and I encourage you to do that. And I also want you to note that I have a series of these Jamboards that are designed to get increasingly more complex and to scaffold students through this kind of thinking. Your job, I think, as teacher or impact sub is to choose the problems, put them in there, help the students with them. If they're struggling, give them easier problems. If they're mastering it quickly, then give them more challenging problems. But this structure is what I'm trying to help you with. By the way, anytime you want to clear the frame, just click on this here, and then the whole thing clears out, and you can use it again. All right. If you have any questions about how to use this, or maybe want me to help you modify it in some way, let me know. All right. Thanks a lot.